I still can't sleep properly. When the clock hits 3 in the morning, my eyes just open. I lie there, staring at the ceiling, and inside my head only one image keeps spinning. That red sky, those flying shadows, and those eyes. I thought this would just be a mission, a chance to make history. But within 3 hours of setting foot on Mars, I understood. We were not alone there. And the most terrifying part is, even after the mission ended, even after returning to Earth, it feels like something came back with me. Let me start from the very beginning, the year 2037. Under the International Space Research Program called the Ares Program, a small crew gets the opportunity to go on a long-term mission to Mars for the very first time. I was part of that crew as a documentation specialist. My job was to record everything, every moment, every discovery. Our team had 5 people total. Dr. Simon, mission commander, close to 50 years old, a cool-headed man, rarely spoke. Maria, biologist, a Spanish woman, always cheerful, intensely curious. Tengxi, geologist, a Chinese researcher who went absolutely crazy whenever he saw rocks. And Rahul, engineer, my closest friend, without whom I would never have come on this mission at all. The night before departure, Rahul told me, "Brother, we're going to make history." I had laughed. When I think about that laugh now, something heavy settles inside my chest. After 7 months of travel, when we entered Mars' atmosphere, the entire capsule was shaking. Outside, a red dust storm. Sand particles were striking the porthole glass. The sound was somewhat like rain, but dry, terrifyingly dry. The moment of landing is something I will never forget. The entire capsule took one massive jolt, then silence. For a few seconds, no one spoke. Then Dr. Simon said, "We've arrived." The first day was a day of data collection. We set up base camp. The habitat module took time to configure. Outside temperature was -60 degrees Celsius. The sun was visible, but nothing like Earth's sun, much smaller, like a distant yellow point of light. The sky was strange, not red exactly, more like the color of rusted copper, faintly purple in places. No clouds, but the light somehow spreads in all directions. Maria said, "This is beautiful." Tengxi said, "This is strange." Rahul said nothing. He just looked up at the sky once and stayed still. At that moment, I was recording with my camera. Later, when I went to watch the footage, I understood. The expression on Rahul's face wasn't wonder. It was fear. But I understood that later. On the morning of the second day, Tengxi noticed the first strange thing. Outside base camp, about 200 meters away, a pattern in the red soil. Round markings, perfect circles, some large, some small, one inside another. Tengxi said, "This could be from wind erosion." Dr. Simon said, "Could be," but no one fully believed it. I photographed the markings, high resolution, to look at later. That night, our radio system had a problem. Contact with Earth was working, but the signal kept cutting out. Rahul said this was normal, solar interference. But in the middle of one of those cutouts, a sound came through, low, like a humming. Not any language, not any code, just a vibration that you could feel inside your chest. Maria asked, "What was that?" No one answered. On the third day, we set out on our first major expedition. The target was that mountain range to the northeast, which had given strange readings on the orbital scan. Geological anomalies. For Teng Chi, this was like a dream. We climbed into the rover, all 5 of us. A Martian dawn is strangely beautiful, that small sun rising from behind the mountains and the entire sky filling with a pale golden color. That light falling on the red soil creates a surreal scene. But even in the beauty, something else was there. A silence. On Earth, in landscapes like this, there would be bird song, the hum of wind, the distant sound of some vehicle. Here, nothing. Just the sound of the rover's engine, and occasionally the faint whisper of the thin atmosphere. That silence enters through your ears and makes your head heavy. After driving for about 2 hours, we reached near the first mountain. And then Maria screamed, "Look at that! Look at that!" Everyone turned toward the rover's window. Something was flying in the sky. At first I thought it was a dust spiral, but no, it had a shape, elongated, and it was moving, purposefully. No wings visible, but flying. Teng Chi said, "What is that?" Dr. Simon stopped the rover. We all got out. In the sky, the thing was now clearer. Several of them, 5, 6, flying together, in a group. They looked like fish. Yes, like fish. Long bodies, thin, fin-like extensions on both sides, and those extensions moving in a wave-like motion. But they were flying, at least 500 meters above the ground. I raised my camera and zoomed in. No skin, instead a semi-transparent covering through which a strangely colored light was visible. Blue, green, purple, all blended together. They were making no sound. But inside my helmet, I felt a vibration, exactly like the humming sound we'd heard on the radio. Maria asked, "Are they alive?" No one could answer. Then, suddenly, turning in an arc, the group disappeared behind the mountain. Silence returned. The 5 of us stood in one place, no one speaking, just the sound of breathing. Rahul slowly said, "Brother, you were recording, right?" I nodded, but my hand was shaking. That night, back at camp, we watched the footage. Clear, perfectly clear. Those flying creatures, transparent bodies, the light. Dr. Simon stayed silent for a long time. Then he said, "This will be in our report, but for now, Earth will not be informed." Maria protested, but Simon said we need more data. That night I couldn't sleep. Outside the habitat on Martian soil, I kept thinking about those circular markings, kept thinking about the flying creatures, and kept feeling no scientist on Earth ever said there is life on Mars, but we, on the 3rd day already. So what did we know all this time? Day 4. Teng Chi wanted to go near the mountains, toward that orbital anomaly. We set out. The mountains looked different up close, not rounded like Earth's mountains. These are sharp, jagged, as if someone deliberately cut and shaped them. But before we even reached the mountains, Teng Chi stopped the rover. "Look at this." Ahead, across a large area on the ground, strangely glittering rocks. Teng Chi got out and picked one up, held it, raised it toward the light. This is a diamond." Everyone went quiet. "No, not just a diamond. This is some mineral we have never seen before. Diamond-like structure, but something is inside it." He held the rock toward me. light inside, glowing of its own, faint, bluish. I raised my camera, zoomed in. The light inside the rock was swirling as if alive. Tengshi said, "This is present all across the mountain." We looked at the mountain. The entire mountain was covered in those glittering rocks, and they were all giving off light. In the sunlight, the mountain seemed to burn, thousands of colors flashing. Maria whispered, "A diamond mountain." Yes, but what lay behind this beauty we did not yet know. Just as we reached the base of the mountain, Rahul stopped. "Sir, strange readings are coming from the rover's sensors." Dr. Simon asked, "What kind?" Rahul said, "Temperature. Heat is coming from inside the mountain." There are no active volcanoes inside Mars. We know this. So where was the heat coming from? Dr. Simon thought for a moment, then said, "We go inside." There was a cave opening in the mountainside, natural. The inside was dark. We switched on our flashlights. We went in. The air inside the cave is different. Yes, Mars's atmosphere is thin, but here it felt denser, as if someone had filled something inside. On the walls, those glittering rocks, but here the light was even brighter, blue, purple, white. The entire cave was filled with light. Tengshi touched the wall and said, "This is not natural formation." Everyone froze, meaning someone made this. Look, the walls are parallel. The floor is smooth. This is not nature's work. But the most terrifying thing was on the walls themselves. Markings. The same markings I had seen on the soil outside base camp. But here there were far more of them, and arranged deliberately. Maria whispered, "Is this writing?" Dr. Simon said, "No one touch any of this." But Tengshi had already moved forward a little. "Sir, there's light further inside." We moved forward. Going deeper into the cave, the temperature was rising, sweat inside the helmet. And I felt that vibration again, inside my chest. Rahul was walking beside me. He grabbed my hand once, said nothing, just held on. That alone told me he was scared too. Rounding a bend in the cave, suddenly an open space. Massive, a circular chamber, the ceiling far above, glittering light rocks on all sides. But in the center, a structure, metallic, but no metal we recognized. The color was neither black nor silver, but somewhere between the two, and it was giving off a light of its own. The structure looked like a honeycomb, many hexagonal cells, and from them came a humming sound. That sound, the one we'd heard on the radio. Maria folded her knees and sat down on the ground, just stared. Tengshi tried to step forward. Dr. Simon stopped him, but there was no need to stop him, because at that exact moment, the structure moved. No, not the whole structure. Something emerged from the upper part of the structure, long, thin, like a branch. I couldn't understand what I was seeing. Then more branches. And then I understood. This was not a structure at all. It was alive. It had been sitting, and now it was standing up. Height approximately 3 meters, the body's color similar to those rocks, surrounded by bluish light. A rounded section where a head would be. No eyes, at least not in any way we could understand. But a feeling came over me. It felt like this thing was watching us. Not just me, everyone, and it knew who we were. For a few seconds, the entire chamber was absolutely still. Then Rahul said, "Move back! Everyone move back!" We retreated, slowly, carefully. The creature didn't move, but that humming sound grew louder. And inside my helmet, suddenly a feeling in my head, as if someone was reading my thoughts. Fear, danger, run. These three feelings came at once, but they were not my own. Someone was sending them to me. I said out loud, "It's trying to communicate with us." Dr. Simon said, "Let's go, right now." No one protested. We ran. Outside the cave, we got into the rover. Rahul went to start the rover. The engine wouldn't start. "What happened?" Dr. Simon asked. Rahul tried several times, then stopped. "The power has drained completely. Battery is at 0. "That's not possible." But it happened. The 5 of us stood at the mountain's base, rover dead, about 12 kilometers from base camp. The sun was rapidly setting in the Martian sky, temperature dropping. Rahul said, "The suit's power reserves are still good. We can walk." 12 kilometers? Yes. Maria was crying, quietly. Teng Chi stood with his eyes closed. Dr. Simon said, "Let's go." That walk, walking through a Martian night. I cannot express this experience in words. The stars in the sky looked different, not like Earth. From here you can see Earth, a bright blue point, so far away. I was walking and staring at that point again and again. Rahul beside me. He said, "Are you scared?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Me too." Then silence. We had walked about 6 kilometers. Suddenly Maria stopped. "Listen." We all stopped. In the sky, those flying creatures again. At night they looked different. The light from their bodies even more vivid, blue and green, flashing. But this time they were descending toward us. Dr. Simon said, "No one move." The creatures came closer, 10 meters, 5 meters. Then they formed a circle around us. One creature came directly in front of me. Up close I could see it had eyes, many of them, small, arranged in a circle, and it was looking at me. I stayed still. The creature tilted slightly, then moved away. All the creatures moved away, flew off. Rahul exhaled. They didn't harm us. No. But why? I didn't know the answer. We reached base camp before dawn, everyone exhausted, terrified, but alive. Back inside the habitat, Maria cried. Rahul comforted her. Dr. Simon said, "We will report to Earth, but some information needs to be verified first." Maria said, "Cancel the mission." Dr. Simon said nothing. The next morning, I woke up to find Rahul gone, his bunk empty, the habitat door open, footprints outside, heading toward the mountain. I shouted and called everyone. We found Rahul in that large chamber. He was standing in front of that structure. The creature was there too, but neither was doing anything. Rahul was just standing there, eyes open, still. I called out, "Rahul!" He turned and looked. His eyes were different. That bluish light, like the light in the creature's body. I went to him. He said, "Brother, they won't cause harm." "How do you know?" "They told me." I grabbed his hand, pulled. He came, easily, but he turned and looked once more toward the creature, and the creature, for the very first time, made a sound, not like a human voice, but somehow understandable. Goodbye. We came back. The mission was shortened. 2 weeks later, we began the journey back to Earth. Rahul was normal, almost normal. He talked, he smiled, he ate. But sometimes, in the deep of night, I would see him sitting, looking out the window, toward Mars. I never asked. We returned to Earth 7 months later. Everything submitted, and then everything went quiet, strangely quiet. No announcement, no press conference, no publication in any scientific journal. I asked. They said, investigation is ongoing. I asked nothing more. But one thing still won't let me sleep. In that footage, around 3 in the morning, someone was standing outside the habitat, tall, thin, giving off light. But we were all inside at that time. I still don't know what the creature told Rahul in the cave that day. I still don't know why the flying creatures let us go. I still don't know what those markings were saying. Rahul now lives in the city next to mine. We see each other sometimes. He smiles, he talks. But last night he called me, at 3 in the morning. He said nothing, just stayed on the line, and in the background, that humming sound.